Sup, everybody. My name is Ree for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. Welcome to Coffee Time. Now, if you don't like coffee, well, you can just call it soda time or caffeine time, whatever you need to. This is a Monday discussion video that may end up going out in the morning. I'm not completely sure. Depends when I'm done editing. So, let's talk about this. This video, as the title says, down there, because it's no longer up, it's down. I just had to say that. But as the title says, trends in Yu-Gi-Oh! Card trends in Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically, cards that start seeing playability out of the ass, out of nowhere. That's what this video is about. Basically, the goods, the bads, and everything about it. And everything in the middle. So, what I want to talk about real quick is, as per example, is Minecraft rising in price, rising in popularity, and just everyone main decking it for the new format. Now, I don't think this is a bad thing. You know, we're seeing it with Mirror Force, Mind Crush, and Mistake. I think these are the best three cards I can use as examples here for, you know, what's actually being used left and right. We've seen this with Book of Eclipse before because it stops the Jin lock and just makes your opponent go son of a bitch. And then basically you allow the special summoning and go from there, right? Ring of Destruction is also a very popular card right now. Raigeki has seen that trend. All these cards have that in common, where people start using it. But way back in the day, what would you believe if I told you Gale was using gadgets? Because of the fact that you could make an Armor Master, and Armor Master was game defining back then, and cutting opponent's monster in half was broken. We've come a long way. We've come such a long way. We're probably going to see more trends in Yu-Gi-Oh! And something that will never end. But it's something that is brilliant in its simple, you know, basically, simple little trendy design. We see it in real life, but now we're seeing it in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like we always do. Now, the one thing I want to talk about is the good. The good is that basically it allows for some cards to see more playability than they ever would. One being Gale, because hey, look, Gale is splashable, Zephyros was splashable, Mistake is splashable, Ring of Destruction, Vanity's Emptiness, Book of Eclipse, Mind Crush. I'm going to retract the statement about Vanity's Emptiness there, because it's pretty much a given that that was going to be broken. That's pretty much a given that it was going to be used. So I will retract that part. I was kind of just thinking off the top of my head. So I will retract that part so no one can complain. Just so we're clear. But we've seen this before. And it's something that we're basically, if say tomorrow Infernoids were the top deck, people would start main decking Kaiku to counteract that. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, that may sound kind of silly. Hey, it's been done before. Trust me, it works. Now, some of you are instantly going, but I don't understand this. I may play casual. I may not play competitively. Basically, it's like, let me put it into this spectrum for you. It's like going to battle and needing a certain weapon because that person is weak to it, or that RPG character is weak to it, or that whatever video game character you can react faster with one gun over the BR. You know, battle rifle. For those of you who don't understand what the term BR is, we're using old man, fucking playing Halo. But back to the point, you can understand what that means, and it basically allows you a 1-point advantage over your opponent, and having that advantage over your opponent allows you to win the game better and easier and faster, and basically gives you advantage, and that's what you want in this game. You want a freaking advantage. If you don't have that advantage, then what's the point of, you know, basically playing? In this game right now, we're so hinged on freaking, you know, plussing more than the opponent, or getting to the cards we need. Upstart Goblin was a trend, and Reckless Greed, started by Patrick Hoban. I will not take that away from the man. He did start that trend. And as that trend went, hey look, my deck is now I'm sorry, it still makes me laugh. My deck is now 31 card. It's a 31 card deck. Hey, look, I can get to these cards faster. The downside with Reckless Greed was it wasn't as good as Upstart Goblin. Now, there is a downside to Mind Crush. And some of you are going to go, wait, why is it a downside to, like, you know, people citing these cards? Or main decking them. I don't understand that statement, Ryu. Well, see, here's the thing. We lose out on creativity just a little bit more every time a Mind Crush is main decked into a deck profile. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. Don't get me wrong. There is absolutely nothing wrong with putting 3 Mind Crush in your deck to have an advantage over your opponent. But I don't know. I come off the creative end of Yu-Gi-Oh! I do like my competitive edge. But sometimes I just like to see the most random deck together that just works out of nowhere and should not work because the mind, your mind just says this pile of crap should not work. I love seeing things like that. Number one. Number two, a lot of that happens in OCG, and I did spend a lot of time out there, so that could be that whole thing rubbing off. I may have just been alluding to the fact that creativity is still existing in this game, but I still think it's there. Because if it wasn't, then we wouldn't be able to see some crazy ass combos even out of the OCG. And to be fair, the OCG is still part of the game, so originality is still there. But that's a topic for another video. But as I said before, we've seen this before with Book of Eclipse because it gives you an advantage, and then if the monster's not there to be flipped up, you don't have to give them the card. Now we're seeing that with Mistake because the whole term floodgates, where basically your opponent has to play over, the gate that you build that's to stop their flood crap. This is just one of the things that are good right now. I said this before on Tech Tuesday a long time ago, on Stock Market a long time ago, almost about a year. I said this card eventually will rise up in price, and I was right. It did take an entire year, but I was right at the end of the day. I called it because I knew what would happen. Eventually there'd be a point where this was going to be the thing. And everyone who picked it up for $2 can now, in turn, sell it for $10. Now, that's where the bad part also comes in. When a card skyrockets in playability, and someone just wanted to pick it up for collection, or maybe they just wanted to actually use it, they're going to have to pay a little bit more money to now get it. Now, some of you are instantly going, but I don't care, I got all the money in the world. See, I'm the kind of Yu-Gi tuber that basically looks at every person who does Yu-Gi-Oh! Not just the one class of meta, the one class of casual. I like to cross everything, so I do have to see it with the budget players. And it's not a sign of disrespect when I say I see it to the budget players. I know what it's like to basically have to pay a little bit more and your wallet goes down, 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 down. And this game could be super, expensive, but eventually at some point, you figure out the economical system to the game. And yes, I just said that I blew your mind that Ryu knows economics. It's okay. Back to the point. You realize the system of basically profiting, and then you can actually utilize it for yourself. But we're seeing that with Ring of Destruction right now. It's like $4. So basically, you can, if you get a bunch of these, you could sell them off $4 a piece. Seems like nothing. Eventually, it may end up going up once Gold Series is done with its run, which should be in about another month or so. Now, you're saying, hey, that's still quite a while off, but hey, if it goes up $5, you did make $1 profit, right? So basically, you made around 5%, 10% of each card, what its original worth was. The stock price has risen. That's how you're going to basically see how the trend works for you. So if you want to basically turn something that would be a negative to you, you could turn it into a positive. You could basically, it's like flipping a house, like buying a cheap house, rebuilding it, and staying under a certain budget, and then selling it for more money than you paid out to do, and more you pay out the house. So that way, in the end of the day, you have enough to buy another house, rinse and repeat, and just keep making money. It's risky, but it pays off. Trust me, it does. But to the point, back to the trends. This is something that's never going to end. So I actually want to just point out and say, I feel at some point, Summon Limit will actually be playable, which is a card from the Duelist Genesis. That and maybe Power Filter if we ever get a deck weak enough to, use it against and abuse it. I feel that's going to be a thing eventually. But what I want to end this video off on is the fact that basically Mind Crush are $4 a piece. They well deserve it. It's kind of one of those things that just kind of flip-flops in and out of the game, where it's good and it's not really good because we need these other trap cards. And right now, Mirror Force and Mind Crush and Mistake are pretty much 3 of the best cards you can actually main deck right now, or side. I would recommend main decking the Mind Crush and Mirror Force before over the Mistake, but if you need that floodgate, it's there for you. It's available, and it's $10 a piece. I called it a year ago. Am I gloating? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But I'm going to leave the video off on that. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll be back next Monday with another coffee time video. But till then, there'll be a video, at least one video per day until next Monday. And it'll keep going that way. That's what we do. Sometimes we take days off, and then sometimes we just upload like 5-8 videos a day because we love you guys. Anyway, rate, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. I'm ready for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. I'm out of here. Peace.